Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel Vigil, taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel Vigil.
JJ McCarthy has already somewhat pissed me off, and he's not even a member of the Denver Broncos. Yes, welcome into Coffee Break, a Friday edition. We're going very low-key, chill today. Richie Carni's hanging out with us. I'm already frustrated with JJ.
Tell me why.
Because he's not going to the NFL draft. He's not going to go to the draft, which means he's going to hang with the family and friends, and I get it. Like, to be honest, if that was me, I probably would do that too. But I'm headed out to the draft. And I think that the Broncos are going to probably move up for JJ McCarthy. So if he's not there, I'm a little frustrated.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I get it. Like, you want to hang out with your friends and your family. But if you're invited to go to the draft, especially on night one, it's because you have a high probability, almost a certainty of getting selected. So to not go feels kind of silly to me. Like, walk up on the stage and take your moment. And you can say the whole, like, oh, embrace it with your friends and your family. But, like, your friends and family aren't going anywhere. They'll be there. They'll be there when you get back. And half of them come with them. They have like a table. So, like, if I'm in that position and I've worked as hard as I've worked, especially for these quarterbacks and those people to be where I'm at and I get drafted, I want to take that moment for myself and walk up on that stage, shake Roger Goodell's hand, hold up my jersey, and say I did it.
Take the picture. That's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that most people don't get the opportunity to do.
These Michigan men, JJ McCarthy.
And it's in Detroit. What are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing, JJ McCarthy? Come on, man.
That, you know what, Rachel, that's a great point. I did not even connect that, like, he doesn't have to get on a plane.
No, he's got to drive. I don't know how far. You probably know better. Where's Ann Arbor compared to?
Probably 90 minutes.
Oh my gosh. See, like, he can so easily do it.
Maybe 2 hours, yeah.
Get the nice table, wear a nice suit, get the pictures. JJ McCarthy, what are we doing, my friend?
Yeah, I don't know.
If you were a draftee, what would you do?
I'd go to the draft.
You would?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if I'm going to be like a third round, fourth round pick, obviously hanging with my family. But
but
if I'm going to be a top 5 pick, maybe top 10.
The only thing is, I'm like, is there like some talk going on? He doesn't think he's going to go in the top 5, and then he's all nervous, and he's like, well, wait a second, I don't want to embarrass myself. Like, there's always those guys.
No, because even that, I mean, even if it was that, I mean, we saw Will Levis go to the draft, and
we forget?
He slid all the way into the second round, like decently in the second round, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like, wasn't he like halfway through the second? And he still went. Yeah, I know, right? I think him and his girlfriend broke up. After that, they might be back together, but I think they broke up after that.
Funny.
But so Will Levis went, and there was talk that he was not going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah,
So JJ McCarthy's the belle of the ball.
You know what you do? Especially if they're all going to be in Michigan, anyways.
Yeah,
you 100% go. You walk the red carpet. You do all of those things, and then you have an after party after the draft.
Sure,
you leave. You go to some bar. Everyone is willing to host you.
The second that I'm drafted, if I'm JJ McCarthy, let's say that happens at pick 4, right?
Go do all the stuff you need to do.
I'm
go talk to me, the media member who will be there, who wants to talk to you.
Yep, I'm going up on stage. I'm taking my picture. I'm shaking that hand. I'm going down to do my quick little media thing, and I'm not going back to my table. I'm leaving.
No.
And especially if my family's there and I live there, like it's in Michigan, I'm gonna go party.
Yep.
Like, I don't need to stay and watch picks 17 through 32
and then you
whatever.
Need to be, in fact, on a plane that next morning because they're going to fly him out to the Mile High City. But yeah,
he's got to do his introductory press conference.
I've got some beef right now with JJ McCarthy if he's actually not going to go. We do have a list of some that have already announced their attendance. Yes, you can see Caleb Williams on there. Marvin Harrison Jr. is on there. Drake May. Like, lots of other top quarterbacks are on this list. And yet there is no names for JJ McCarthy right there.
How many quarterbacks do you think go in the first round? This is a conversation that happens every year, and it always ends up actually, I think, being less than 5. I want to look it up. When was the last time 5 I don't know that 5 quarterbacks have gotten taken in the first round of a draft.
Caleb Williams,
maybe ever.
Jaden Daniels, Drake May, JJ McCarthy, Bo Nix. 5. I think 5 are going to go.
The most quarterbacks.
There's so many needed quarterbacks this year.
The most quarterbacks The 1983 draft, wow, the John Elway draft was the most quarterbacks picked in a single first round of the common draft era. 6 signal callers were picked in round one. So because it feels like because there's such a premium at that position and they get overdrafted as much as they do, it feels like every year we're like, oh, quarterbacks are going to go 1, 2, 3. Quarterbacks are going to go 1, 2, 3. 4. They could go the first 5 picks could all be quarterbacks, and it never actually happens that way. So I'm already trying to look at the board, and we don't know what moves could be made at that point or up to that point. I'm trying to wrap my head around how I think 3 is a pretty safe number to go in the top 5.
Yes, agree.
3 picks in the top 5, whether trades or otherwise, seems fair. But
it really depends. Do you think that the Patriots are going to select Marvin Harrison, or are they going to go with the QB? That ultimately decides.
Listen, it's not the Belichick era anymore. So you can't take what the Patriots have done for the last 20 years and say that going forward they're going to do things. So the Patriot way is still there, but this is Gerard Mayo. It's a different regime. True. It's a different mindset and a philosophy. But if they took Marvin Harrison Jr. 3rd overall with who they have throwing the ball to him, that's like a punishment.
What a waste.
What a waste. You know what I mean? And if you're a young first-time head coach, and you don't have a solid quarterback situation with a top 3 pick, it's almost irresponsible unless you just hate anybody that's not Caleb Williams and whoever goes number 2, whether that's Jaden Daniels or whether it's JJ McCarthy, Drake May, whatever, because you're not getting Caleb.
Yep.
So if you don't like whoever is available for after Washington picks at number 2, who I assume is also going to take a quarterback, unless you hate them, you almost owe it to yourself to take a swing as a first-year head coach. You got nothing to lose.
Agreed.
You got nothing to lose. You're right now. You're playing with somebody else's cards.
Yeah.
I'm
totally with you. Trust me. I think it would be a mistake to take a wide receiver at that number 3
I could see him going to the Cardinals at 4 if they don't trade back, because they've paid Kyler Murray. They've made their bed. Whether that's a mistake or not, it remains to be seen. I'm not really high on Kyler Murray personally, but
are you okay with saying goodbye to Pat Surtain?
Conceptually, yeah, but again, this always comes back to the
little smile that Richie gives. Is like, well, maybe.
Come on. Maybe. So again, for me, it's always, what am I getting back in return? Am I okay with trading Pat Surtain in a deal that allows me to draft, the 7th quarterback off the board? No, or the 6th quarterback off the board? No, but am I okay with would I be okay with dealing Pat Surtain in a deal that allows me to move up to 2 or 3 and get Jaden Daniels? Yeah.
I don't think that's even possible. Is that scenario even on the
2 first-round picks plus Pat Surtain, who was a first-round pick a couple of years ago?
I think you're doing that to move up to 4.
You could be. So but you're not going to, you can't really stack on too many more first-round picks from that. So you're just talking about giving away future seconds and, whatever. So, but my answer is it's yes with an asterisk. I am okay with dealing Pat Surtain for the right value, for something that makes sense, that gives this team a chance to get
for the right value.
Who's available at 4?
JJ McCarthy. Or Drake May. Let's just throw out a possibility.
You know what?
For JJ, I will do it for Drake May.
You know what? It's gonna make me throw up in my mouth to say it because he's a Michigan man. But if all of this smoke that we're seeing about Sean Payton and JJ McCarthy is true, and if Sean Payton sees his next Drew Brees,
I know where you're gonna go
in
with
JJ
this.
McCarthy, then yes, then fine, Sean, do it. We brought Sean Payton here to fix this team.
I hate
so you
this.
can't bring him in here to do something and then handicap him or handcuff him from doing it the way he wants to do it. He's a Super Bowl winning head coach. He's coached a Hall of Fame quarterback for the entirety of his career.
Okay, what's he done in the last 10 years? Yeah,
what does that mean?
Shot,
what do you mean? What is he? What do you mean? What has he done in the last
10 years?
Are you trying to point out that he hasn't won a Super Bowl?
How old were you 10 years ago?
20.
Okay, so has a lot changed in 10 years?
Has
for
the
me,
yes. Yeah, I have not grown.
10 years?
I have not grown any taller.
Conversation. Sean Payton's a Super Bowl winning head coach. Great, he is. Yeah, that is a fact. But he has done nothing in the past 10 years.
I don't know about nothing, Rachel. He's only had a handful of losing seasons in his entire tenure.
That's fine.
He's been to the playoffs.
I think the Broncos will get back to their winning ways. Do I think they're going to win a Super Bowl in the next 4 years? No, I don't.
Okay, but again, we brought Sean Payton in here to try to do that. So why not give him? You can't do that. They traded away premium
your future, and then he decides to leave.
That's the bet you've made. That is the bet you've made.
I wanted to make.
I got it, but like you traded multiple picks, including a first-round pick, to get him here. You paid him like one of the better head coaches in the league, which he's earned over an almost 2-decade-long career. And so you brought him in here to run the show because the guy who sat in his chair previously, Nathaniel Hackett, was a goober. Okay. And it was
goober.
Yeah. So we're doing an opposites thing. Okay. We had Vic Fangio. We went full opposite with Nathaniel Hackett. We were like, this sucks. We're going full opposite back the other way in the form of Sean Payton. Yep. And you've got to give Sean Payton the leash to be able to do those things. So if he believes in JJ McCarthy, Drake May, he's in love with him, head over heels. That is my guy. I can turn this guy into the next Drew Brees, like I turned Drew Brees into Drew Brees, who was a castaway from the Chargers when he got to New Orleans. Then you know what, Sean? Do what you got to do, because all pro corners are just that. They're all pro corners if they're on a team that doesn't have a quarterback that can win. See Champ Bailey.
That was cruel what he just did to me right there. That was just cruel. I'm willing to give up 2 first-round draft picks to move up. Anything more than that, you are taking a huge, huge, huge risk that I think can set back this organization.
I think you're taking a huge, huge, huge risk just giving up 2 first-round picks. But if you want to win, you got to play the game. If you want to win, you got to deal yourself into. You got to have cards.
I hate the game.
And if that's what it takes, if that's the cost to ante in, then that's what you have to do.
I'm still angry at JJ
You may not like the price. It may be too expensive for you. You may be right. It may be not worth it to do that, but it also might be. And you can't know until you do it. That's the essence of gambling.
It's a gamble. Hopefully he doesn't follow Shohei Ohtani's.
Yeah, no, Sean Payton needs a better interpreter. He needs a better interpreter. Yep.
Can you believe the money on that?
That whole situation, there's going to be like a 30 for 30 documentary.
My only thing is, how did he not know?
I don't know.
You're seeing you have that much money in your bank account that you're not seeing any of that get drained.
Yeah, I mean, but he also we don't know how he lives his life. He seems very
he's one of those people that doesn't look at his bank account.
Yeah, detached and he knows he's got money to do anything he wants. He's got people that bring things in and out for him. He doesn't seem like he maybe has a lot of hands-on personal responsibility with that stuff. So it's entirely possible. I mean, Russell Wilson didn't know about any of that stuff that was going on with his foundation, according to him,
That doesn't surprise me as much though. Russell Wilson's just football. I'm sure he's got
so I don't know, but to answer your question, it blows my mind, the whole thing. It's honestly, it's like something out of a movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like I felt a certain way about who was at fault with that and what the story really was and who was covering for who. And then the more I read into it, and the more I dug into it and thought about it, I was like, actually, I could see it the other way. And I think that's what makes it so fascinating.
I'm so invested into this entire court case now, what it's about to become, especially with the text messages that got leaked of him saying, well, technically I did steal from him. I'm like, well, you're the worst, robber in the whole entire world. I guess, is it not robbery? What is it?
Yeah,
is it?
Yeah.
I don't know what stealing from somebody's bank account is technically considered.
I guess it would be stealing. It'd be theft. Yeah.
Theft.
Yeah.
Theft was the word I was looking for on this Friday. How are you feeling about the Avs Winnipeg tomorrow night?
I don't know, man.
It's the biggest roller coaster ever.
It is.
We're just going this and this and this.
And I think that, I'm intrigued by the game because based on how this end of the season here standings play out, I think I read that this would be the first time that the Avs and Winnipeg ever faced off in the postseason. And it was something like the Avalanche, when playing a team in the postseason for the first time, are 15-10.
Yep.
between the
They've
Nordiques
got
and the
like a
Avs.
more winning
And
record.
Winnipeg is like 2-6. Like they're not good
Yeah.
at playing it. So like I want that to be a favorable matchup. And like I'm intrigued to see how in this game and to see how it all shakes out. But I'm as exciting as this season has been at times, it has been a total roller coaster. And like the McKinnon point streaks and his MVP season, which he is going to win the MVP. Like I'm certain of it.
You could put your money down on that one.
Put it in Sharpie. I am still very nervous about this team in the postseason. And maybe it's because of the bad taste of the Kraken in my mouth from last year. And I don't think that that's going to be a repeat. I don't think they're going to get upset in the first round. But like the amount for all the confidence that I have in the Nuggets as they prepare to do this, it's lacking for me for the Avs.
That's exactly how I feel. And if Nichushkin is out there, then I feel a lot better. That team can win a Stanley Cup with Val Nichushkin out there. If he's not, it's a whole other thing. So can he stay healthy? That's going to be one of the main questions, and keep his head on straight, which it's one of those things where it's heartbreak, right? Like you got your heart broken last year, so you're going to continue to bring it up every single time. I'm really nervous about the Jets. Like they've obviously found ways to beat the Avs this year. Can you do it in a 7-game series? It's like real lucky possibility, especially if the Avs have to travel and they've sucked on the road.
Yeah, and I obviously the answer is yes, they could. But I will say for the skepticism and the nervousness that I have with the Avs that's stemming from even last year as this season has unfolded, I do still think that there's not a lot of teams in hockey that want to play them seven times, because beaten, even as flawed as they've shown to be at times, or as up and down as they've been, when you've got somebody like Nathan McKinnon on the ice, and you've got Akil McCarr, and you've got Val Nichushkin, hopefully, and all of that, like they've got some dudes. And then the guys they've brought in, I mean, Jonathan Drouin, the way that
so much fun.
It's looking like him and McKinnon are just like back in their their high school days or whatever it was when they were playing in Halifax or whatever it was. And some of these guys that they brought in, I still wouldn't want to play them.
Oh, I mean,
it's kind of like how I would imagine a lot of teams feel about playing like the Warriors in the NBA.
Yes.
Like they ain't the Warriors that they used to be.
Yep.
But I'll be damned if that's not still Steph Curry.
If Steph Curry gets hot, anything can happen if Steph Curry
and they're
gets
like
hot.
A play-in. Have you look at the play-in for the NBA?
I know.
It's like Lakers, Warriors, Suns, and who am I missing?
The Kings. So you got
the Kings,
Suns
the
at
entire
7.
state of California, and then Phoenix.
You got Suns at 7, Kings at 8, Warriors at 9, Lakers at 10. Are
That
you
is
kidding me?
That is a and like it. What's crazy is Sacramento was like a 2 seed in the playoffs last year. Like the West has gone through a major shift.
I know
in the balances of power and all that. So yeah, I would imagine like if I'm Winnipeg or if I'm these other teams, I'm looking at the Avs probably similar to how other people think of the Warriors. Now the Avs are not a play-in team, the equivalent of in the playoffs. They're still a high seed, but they don't look like they're not steamrolling like the team that won the cup.
Also, can I just be honest? I am so ready for the draft to be here because I'm sick of talking about what could happen.
Just like, give me something.
I'm so over it. I'm so over talking about, what seed are the Nuggets and the Avs going to be? I'm just ready for the playoffs to start. I feel like we've been having these conversations forever, and I am so ready. I'm just like, let's go.
What I want to know, and we need to, before you answer, you need to give Joey a second to pan the one shot over to you. I want to know what your reaction will be if the Broncos stay at number 12 and they draft a cornerback.
I don't even know. If I am in Detroit for the NFL draft and they stay at 12 and a Bo Nix is still on the board, or a Brock Bowers, even though I don't think he'll be there at number 12, somebody else, and they draft a corner.
It's all there on the board. And Goodell walks up there. I'm getting
on the first plane out of Detroit, and I'm going to wherever the Nuggets or Avs are playing that night. And I'm saying I am done caring about this team.
Goodell walks up there and it goes. It's like with the 12th
Richie,
pick,
my heart
in the 2024 NFL draft, the Denver Broncos select Cooper DeJean, cornerback, Iowa.
I will I will get on the first plane out of Detroit and go to wherever the Nuggets and Avs are playing and say, I'm done with the Broncos.
I heard James Merilatt say earlier in the week that he would, if that happens, he will throw his phone or whatever the nearest inanimate object is at his television. And I'm not going to lie to you, I feel like I'd be somewhere close to that. I'm not going to be, I don't have it in me to break my TV because
we need those $300.
But yeah, but I want to hit something.
No, I literally could leave.
Like the throw pillow on my bed, knocked out, might just be unconscious because there's a lot of things I think you could explain away. If they stay at 12 and they take Bo Nix, even if he's the 5th QB off the board or whatever it is, okay, they did whatever. If they trade up, if they trade back and don't take somebody at 12 and they take like maybe Michael Penix if he doesn't go to the Raiders, or they take somebody else, even a skill position player or something like that. There are ways you can wordsmith it. Taking a first round corner again would be like, I don't even know what you would say.
I'm on the first plane out of Detroit. See ya later.
And
I'm sorry.
And the funniest thing is like, I actually don't think that Sean Payton would get the heat for that because everyone would assume that's a George Payton pick.
I would be so angry.
But then you'd have to rationalize, would Sean Payton allow George Payton to have the final say on who they take at 12 and then with that final say take a corner?
Dude, you pissed me off just even thinking about this situation.
It'll be anarchy. It will be
Broncos country would riot.
It will be riots in the figurative, metaphorical streets.
You would have to stop caring. It would be like, I think where fans have reached with the Rockies of we are just done caring. Like we're seeing the lowest
Broncos
attendance
don't have
ever.
A rooftop.
No, they do not have a rooftop.
Not yet.
They've got that Breckenridge Brewery though.
Greg, put a rooftop. I'm just saying.
What can we say? Yep, you pissed me off on this Friday with that one. So let's pray that doesn't happen and we're not talking about it. That is going to do it though, because it is a Friday and I don't want to get any more angry for coffee break. So as always, I appreciate all of you hanging out with us. Richie, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. And to everybody else, we'll see you on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Let's pray that the Broncos do not select a cornerback when it comes to the draft. See you on Monday.